1 2 3 okay 4 okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to talk about the field of vision. What is mean by the field of vision? What is mean by the monocular vision? What is mean by the binocular vision and diplopia? Okay. So what is field of vision? The portion of the external world which is visible, which is seen by the single eye or both the eye. What is mean by this one? The the portion of the external world which is seen by a single eye or both the eye. So that area which is visible to our eye is that area is called field of vision. Okay. Suppose this is a man. This is a very danger man. This is a very danger natty man. Okay. This man is looking in this direction. So the area all around this man, he can't see all the area, but he see a specific area, a specific portion in the external world. So that area which is seen by this man, that visible area is called the field of vision. Okay. Suppose this is a board. This is a whole board. Is a huge board. Then this man, when looking in this direction, then this man can't see all the board. This man can't see all the board. This man can't see all the world around it. But he see a specific area around himself. So this area is called field of vision. Okay. As we know that, suppose this is my eye. This is my eye. There is the cornea. There is the cornea. Okay. So this is the anterior side. This is the, suppose this is the right eye. This is my right eye. There is the nose. There is the left eye. Okay. This is the posterior side. So there the cornea. When the light enter to the eye, the light strike the poor area, mainly poor area and the retina and the inside of the eye. Okay. Strike this area. This is called the nasal area. The nasal semi part of the retina. Strike this area. The temporal semi part of the retina. Strike upper area. The upper part of the retina, upper semi part of the retina, and lower part of the semi retina. Okay. So on the basis of the division of the retina, we classify the field of vision into 4 types. Okay. When the light fall on the eye and strike this area, suppose the light suppose the light from this area the light reflect and strike this area. So this is, as you know that, this is the temporal part of the retina. So this field is called, this area, this visible area is called the temporal field. When the light from this part fall on this area, okay, on this area. So this is the nasal. There is the nose, as you know that. So this is the nasal part of the retina. So this field, this visible area is called the nasal field. And when the light fall on the upper side, this is called the upper field, and the light fall on the lower side of the retina, this is called the lower field. Okay. So we classified the visual field into 4 classes: 2 in vertical direction, 2 in vertical, and 2 horizontal. Okay. Vertical is the temporal and nasal field, and 2 upper and lower field. Okay. So suppose this is my right eye, this is my left eye. Okay. When the light fall on the eye, here I only first of all I discuss the nasal field and the temporal field. Okay. So this is the nasal part. This is the nasal part of the retina. Here this part get the nasal field. This part, this one and this part is the temporal the temporal part of the retina. So this part receive the temporal field. Okay. Why it is called the temporal field? Why it is called the nasal field? Look at this one diagram. This is the main, this is the zygomatic bone, there is the temporal bone, there is the temporal zygomatic bone, lacrimal bone, maxilla, mandible. Okay, this is the bone structure. Frontal bone. Here is the nasal bone. So I divide, this is my eye, I divide the eye into large temporal part and small nasal part. Why this part is temporal? This part make about 100 angle. This is the largest part because, and this is the smallest part because, it is because there the there is the nose, there is the nose, and there is the temporal bone, but the temporal bone is more toward posterior and the nasal bone is more toward anterior. Okay, so this is the small amount of light there, due to the restriction of the nose. There is the nose, so the light do not fall from this direction up to on this area because of the restriction of the nose. Okay, but here the light fall from this area, all over the area, from this area and this area and this field. Okay, so this is the largest field because there is the no restriction, there is least restriction of the temporal bone, but there is the more restriction of the nasal bone. Okay, so it do not allow the light to fall from this direction. Okay, so this is a restriction of the nasal bone. Okay, there proof another concept, the monocular. I will discuss in this section the monocular vision and binocular vision. Okay, so the temporal field is the largest field because of the very least restriction of the temporal bone, and the nasal is the smallest because of the nose. Okay, there is the my nose. Okay, so this is the nasal field, this is the temporal field. Okay, another way, the light also struck the upper part and the lower part. Okay, so suppose this is the eye, this is my eye, I will take this one eye only. So the light also, this area is called, this area of the retina is called the lower semi retinal part, the lower semi retina, and this is the upper semi retina. Okay, so the light fall on this area, that light which is reflected from that area, from this area, so this is called the upper field, and this is called the lower field. Okay, so this is very easy concept and basic concept. Okay, what is mean by monocular vision, what is mean by binocular vision? Okay, look at this concept as very most important concept and general concept. When we see by a single eye, this is called monocular vision, and when we see on toward other object, this is called binocular vision. Okay, so when we open our both eye and seeing to object, so this is called binocular vision. Okay, the most important point to be highlighted, very most important point, and the man in the human, this is the left eye, this is the right eye. In the human, there is the nose, both the eye are here, and the human being are placed in the anterior direction. Okay, so the field of this one eye and this one eye is overlap on each other. Okay, look at this one diagram. This is suppose this field go to this light go toward this eye, and this light go toward this eye. Okay, so there the field this one and there the field overlap on each other. Okay, but the in dog, cat and other animals, the eye is placed. And human being combinedly see this area. Okay, combinedly see this area. This area is seen by both the eye. This eye seen this area, and this eye see this area. Okay, but in cat, dog, other animal, each of the eye see a separate word, a separate part. Okay, because the eye of the cat and dog is placed laterally. Okay, so the field do not, the field do not, and some birds, also the field do not overlap each other. Okay, so this eye, so there the field of fusion is increased further. Okay, so this is the because there the overlapping is cut down. Okay, so this I see a separate word, this I see a separate word. Okay, so there in the dark, the I are in most lateral direction. Okay, so this is the basic concept for the mononuclear vision, binocular vision. Okay, the most important concept, suppose I will discuss here in a little bit more detail the temporal field and the uh, nasal field, but but I skip the upper and the lower field for easy understanding. Okay, suppose this is the object. This object have two color. This object have two color. The light rays from this area. Suppose this is the left eye. This is the right eye. Okay, the light from this area strike this eye and this eye, and from this eye and this eye. Okay, it is clear. Suppose I divide the retina into two parts. This is the temporal part. There is the temporal bone. This is the nose. There is the nasal bone. There is the temporal bone. Okay, so this is the temporal part. This is the temporal semi part of the left eye, of the left retina. This is the nasal part of the left eye retina. This is the nasal part of the right eye retina. This is the temporal part of the right eye retina. Okay, very easy concept. The light fall, the light reflected from this area and restrict this area. Here, the light reflected from this area and restrict this area. There, this light strike the nasal part of the left eye, and there the light strike the temporal part, nasal part of left eye, temporal part of the right eye. Okay, so there the nerve is go out, and there the nerve is go out. Okay, so there the green color vision is received from this area, and the green color vision is received from this area and go to the brain. I will discuss the pathway in a very big detail, but here I just giving a little bit idea, and therefore we see the green object. Okay, so here we see the green object, and from this area light fall on this area. This is the temporal part of the left eye, and from this area and this area, this is the nasal part of the right eye. Okay, so the nerves here combine together, and we see here the pink color, the red color object. Okay, I will discuss in a very big detail what is the visual pathway. Okay, what is the pupillary reflexes here, what is the visual reflexes, but here just a little bit idea. Okay, so here we see two things, this one, and also the overlapping of each other. Here they overlap each other. Okay, okay, this is a very simple concept. Hi students, very very most important concept. Someone is called, this one is the baby concept. This is the baby concept, is the diplopia. Very interesting topic. What is mean by diplopia? Before defining a diplopia, what is mean by the corresponding retinal points? What is mean by corresponding retinal points? What is mean by corresponding retinal points? Corresponding retinal points are the area and the retina of both the eye, not the single eye, on both the eye on which the light rays from the object is fall. This is occur in the monocular, binocular vision, not in the monocular vision. Suppose, what is mean by corresponding retinal point? Suppose this is the object, the light fall from this area and stick this area, and from this area stick this area. Okay, this is the binocular vision. So this point in the retina and this point in the retina, this point, this area is called corresponding retinal points, this point and this point. Okay, so corresponding retinal points are the points and the retina of both the eye on which light fall on that point is called corresponding retinal points. Okay, as we know that, suppose the light fall suppose this rays strike this area and this rays strike this area. Okay, so this is the corresponding point. This is because of the ocular muscle of the eye, which direct the eye toward a specific direction. This muscle rotate the eye toward a specific direction. This muscle does not rotate the eye, that one eye is rotated in this direction and other eye is in this direction. Okay, so the ocular muscle, when we see to this object, the ocular muscle rotate both the eye in this direction in a specific way. And okay, so this is due to the ocular muscle. Okay, suppose this one rays, there are many rays, million trillion of rays. This ray struck this area and this ray struck this area. Okay, so the nerves from this area and this area combine together, and therefore we see a single green object, and there we also see a single red object, because there the corresponding point is the same. Okay, but here another way. Suppose this light fall on this area and this light fall on this area, lower to this point, lower to this point. Okay, so the nerve from this area and this area combine together here, and we see. Okay, so therefore we see a single image by both the eye. Okay, this is only for human. This is only for human, but for the dog, cat, bird, the there is the binocular vision is different. Because the one eye see separate world and other eye see separate world. Okay, this is for human being only. But when the light rays, suppose when the light rays, this light rays, suppose here is when the light rays strike this area, this one area, and there the light rays do not strike this area but strike this area. So there we see two vision, there we see two green object and one red object. So this condition is called diplopia. Diplopia means double vision. Okay, so there we see double vision of this one, because the light do not fall on the same area, on the same point. Okay, so the light fall on this area, this gave us a specific message to the brain, and here we see this proportion of this object. Okay, and when light fall on this area and we see this portion of the object, do not see this portion. Okay, so we see two objects. So this is called double vision. This is called diplopia. For experimental determination, how we get double vision? Suppose there is my nose. Okay, for experiment, this is experimental verification. When I press my left eye in inward direction. Okay, when I apply pressure on this eye in inward direction. Okay, so there I changed the corresponding retinal point. This corresponding retinal point is remain the same, constant, but I change the corresponding retinal point from this position up to this position. Okay, or up to this position. So the light fall on this area, and therefore we see two green objects. So this is called the double vision. This is general phenomena. When we press our eye, this one eye on the side, or left or right, so we see double vision. Okay, another very simple way. When we take a pencil or pen and select near to our nose. This is the nose, and we placed the pencil near to our nose. Then we also see double vision, because there the pencil is very close toward the nose. Okay, so the light from this pencil is strike this area, and the light from this pencil do not strike the retinal point, but there it may take this area or this area. Okay, so in this condition we also see double pencil vision. Okay, so this is called the diplopia and the causes experimental verification of the diplopia. Okay, so this is all about the field of vision. Okay, so in order to support me and to support my channel, so subscribe my channel, because I take a very hard workout, very hard study. After a very hard study, I prepared this topic. Okay, so subscribe my channel and like my channel and comment me. Okay, so this is a supporting point for me. Okay, so I will prepare a very basic concept